Okay, everybody. A good day. Today is December the 3rd. Today we are going to practice with grammar. We are going to practice with tenses, auxiliaries, and some applications from the auxiliaries. Then you are going to have a homework to do. Today it's going to be basically the last class of this year because next Monday is holiday. And for next Wednesday, you are going to do the homework that you have to do for this session. So basically, today's session is you are going to listen to this kind of class or lecture, okay? That is going to take for about maybe less than an hour, I guess. So let's begin. Tenses. How many tenses are there in English? So I would like you to ask that question to yourself. How many tenses are there in English? Well, in the meantime, I am going to try to do some painting, some pictures, and you are going to try to guess if you can know what kind of tense I am talking about. But I'm afraid that my mouse, I don't know, it's working very slowly today. Yes, it's working very slowly. So I think that in this way it's going to be kind of hard to do it this way. Okay, this X means that it's an action, okay? Because I am going to explain to you the concepts of the tenses. Yes, well, definitely this is not. It's very slow. It's not working. So let's see. Here we have the tenses. How many tenses do you think there are? Do you have the answer? Well, we have present, past, and future. Okay, but also these are the most important tenses in English. Well, the most important set. But also we have simple tenses, we have progressive, we have perfect, and we have perfect progressive. Okay, so we have a total of how many tenses? If we have present simple, present progressive, past progressive, past perfect, past simple, and past perfect progressive. So you got the picture, I guess. So we have in total 12 tenses. Okay. I was going to make a picture of the tenses, but I don't have it in here. Well, I can undo it because I don't know, this seems to be very slow. So I'm going to to give you the speaking about these tenses. Okay, the concept, because for me it's very important that you got the concept. Okay. This is the present simple. The present simple is this one. What is present simple? As you can see, this is an action that takes place or took place in the past, is taking place right now, and it will continue taking place in the future. Okay? So it's an action that always takes place. It's an action that is always true. This is very good when we're speaking about routines. This is very important when we talk about interviews, when we are getting to know someone, that we want to know about the things that that person does on regular basis. Okay. It's like for example, where do you live? And you say, well, I live in Belen. And the question, when? When? What do you mean when? Well, yesterday, last week, or last year, or last month. Today I'm living there, and hopefully tomorrow, next year, I will be living there. So it's something that is always true. That is the present simple. Okay, let's continue for the other one. That is the present progressive. The present progressive, it's an action that is taking place at the moment of the speaking. Okay, it's an action that just is like this one. Imagine this action, but it started some minutes ago. It is taking place right now, and it will continue to happen for the couple of minutes. Okay. For example, right now I am speaking. What does it mean? It means that I started maybe 10 minutes ago. I'm still speaking, and I will continue speaking for maybe another 40-50 minutes. Okay, that is the present progressive. Then we have the present perfect. Okay, I would like you to, this is the homework that you are going to do. Given the fact that I am not typing because I don't know, there's problems with the network, the computer is kind of slow, so you are going to take notes. What is the present simple? What is the present progressive? Now, what is the present perfect? The present perfect, when we speak about perfect tenses, always present, past, and future. Perfect. When we speak about perfect tenses, we always take into account two tenses. Okay? Two tenses, two periods of time. So the present perfect takes two tenses, the past and the now. So it's an action that could happen from the past until this moment. When is not important, it's not specific. Okay? How many times? No, it's not important. I just want to know something. I just want to know that that action happened. Okay, for example, have you smoked weed? Have you drunk tequila? It's from the past until this moment. When is not important. How many times is not important. I just want to know if you have. Have you been unfaithful? An example with the present progressive. I am speaking, I am talking, or you are talking, or you are speaking. An example from present simple. I live in Medellin. I work as an engineer, or I have a car, I have a motorcycle, or I don't have a car, I have a cell phone. My name is. Okay. Let's continue with the next one. The next one is the present perfect progressive. This is similar to the one above, but the difference is that this one, the last one, perfect progressive, is an action that has been on progress. Okay, on progress. It's not like the previous one. When, for example, have you smoked weed? Maybe some of you might say, yes, I have, but it doesn't mean that the action is been in progress. Okay, that you continue doing it. For example, I have been teaching for 10 years, or for 5 years, or for 15 years, or I have been teaching for 20 years. That means that the action has been on progress from the past until the moment. For example, how long have you been studying English? How long have you been studying at the university? That is an example of a present perfect progressive. Okay? Now, so you are going to, I hope that you are taking notes about this, and you are taking notes about the concept. For example, this is the concept of the present simple. I want you to do this exercise. I want you to be creative. This is an example of the present simple. Okay, now following this pattern, I want you to be creative, and I want you to be clever. Okay, and be original, and try to do different pictures about the other tenses. As I said, this is an example of a present simple. Okay, for example, with the present progressive, it would be something like this. Okay, it's an action that started, is continuing, and will continue. Okay, just this little fragment. This will be an example of a present progressive. So I want you to think about the other pictures for and the other concepts: the present simple, the present progressive, the present perfect, and the perfect progressive tenses. How would you do it? Remember that this is part of an engineering. How would you do it? So I want you to try to you are going to do this. Number one, you are going to write the concept. Number two, you are going to try to figure out how to do the picture. How can you represent it as I did it? Number three, you are going to write example. And number four, you are going to write the auxiliary. Okay? Now, the auxiliary for the present simple is do, does, or did. The auxiliary for the present progressive is am, are, is, am, or is. The auxiliary for the present perfect is have or has. And the auxiliary for the present perfect progressive is have or has. Okay? Also, number 5, you are going to, according to these examples that I have been giving you, you are going to write the structure. Okay? For example, the structure for the present simple. Subject plus verb in agreement with the third person plus complement. The structure for the present progressive: subject plus the verb to be are, is, plus the main verb in ing plus complement. The structure for the present perfect: subject plus have or has plus the main verb in present in past participle. For example, I have eaten, I have worked, I have listened, plus complement. Present perfect progressive: subject plus have, has, plus verb been plus the main verb in ing plus complement. For example, I have been working for 5 years. I have been studying English for 2 or 3 years. So those are the 5 things that you are going to do per each tense: the concept, the picture, the example, the auxiliary, and the structure. Okay? I have given you the present simple, present progressive, present perfect progressive. Now, let's move on to the past. The past simple. So, the concept. The past simple was just an action that happened, that took place in the past and died in the past. Okay? The picture. You can do the picture very simple. It's just like this one, but just with one X in the past, no more, because that was an action. That was an action that took place in the past and died in the past, or ended in the past. Example. What did you do yesterday? Well, yesterday I worked, I exercised, I talked to my mom, I ate, I slept, I studied, I talked to, I don't know. Okay? That is an example. What is the auxiliary? The auxiliary is did. What did you do? What did you do? And what is the structure? The structure is a subject plus did, subject plus verb in past plus a complement. Okay, now the past progressive. The past progressive is similar to the present progressive, but it is going to be there are 2 actions that are taking place. One is one action in the past, and the other is one action that is being taking place. So it's similar like this picture, but you are going to move the perspective in horizontal line. Okay, it's like in the past. Okay. For example, what were you doing when she called you? So this action is going to be a simple past. When she called you is a specific action, and the question is, what were you doing? So what action what action was taking place when she called you? You say, oh well, I was sleeping when she called me. I was working when she called me. I was okay. I was listening to music when she called me. I was working when she called me and I couldn't answer. The auxiliary for this one is was, were. And the structure is subject plus was, were, plus verb in ing, plus complement. Okay? Let's continue with the past perfect. The past perfect I'm going to try to picture it, but the concept is as I said, the perfect tenses, there are two tenses, and one tense depends to the other one. So the present perfect, remember, was a tense, there was an action that happened from the past until the moment. This is like a a past before another past. You got it? A past before another past. So it will be something like a okay, something like this. So the picture for the progressive tenses could be like this symbol. The picture for the perfect tenses could be like something like this. Well, as I said, this is the representation I get. You can do a different representation. So here we have, this is the present, and this is the past, so it's an action that happened before another action that was in the past. Okay? Example. Had you studied English before you entered the university? So you entered the university. You entered the university is an action that that took place in the past. Okay. So is this action, the action that took place in the past. And the past perfect is the past before that past. Had you studied English before you entered the university? Had you worked before you entered the university? What is the auxiliary? The auxiliary is had, H-A-D. What is the structure? Subject plus had plus verb in past participle plus complement. Okay, let's continue with the past perfect progressive. The past perfect progressive is the same than this one, but the difference is that you are going to put x's here. X, 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 X. These x's will represent that the action was a past from the past, but it was in progress. The action was taking was in progress. For example, I had been having a good time before I entered the university. I entered the university and I had to study and to work hard, and things got not so easy. So I had been having a good time. The action was being in progress. For example, James had been playing at Porto before he started playing for Real Madrid. Okay, the auxiliary is the same, had, and the structure is subject plus had plus been plus verb in ing. Okay, now I have spoken to you about the present, the past, and the future. In this case, about present simple, present progressive, present perfect progressive. Now, what is the one that is missing? Future, future simple, future progressive, future perfect, and future perfect progressive. I am not going to give it to you. You are going to think. According to this, you are going to try to figure out the concept of the future simple, the concept of the future progressive, the concept of the future perfect, the concept of the future perfect progressive, the pictures, the example, the auxiliaries, and the structures. Well, you are not only clever, but you are smart. Do you know that there is a little difference between clever and smart? Smart people. Well, so you are clever and smart. So, with the information that I have given you, you are smart enough to do the same thing with the future. Okay? Now, I have spoken about tenses. I have spoken about auxiliaries. Now, applications. The application from the auxiliaries. We are going to have yes, no, questions. WH, questions. Tag, questions. Agreement, positive agreement, and positive disagreement. Positive agreement and negative agreement and disagreement. The same as this is slow. I'm going to explain to you. For each thing we have we are going to do it for every tense. Okay. So the homework that you are going to have is kind of long because it's going to be the homework is going to be for today and for next class. I'm going to give you this class and next class that is going to be on Wednesday, so that you can do this activity. The homework that you have to do, it's this one. For each tense you need to do the 5 steps. 5 steps above. What are the 5 steps? Concept, picture, example, auxiliary, and structure. Number 2, for each tense for each tense you are going to write an example with the applications. Auxiliary applications. So they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They are 7 auxiliaries applications. They are 7 auxiliary applications for each tense. So in conclusion, and they are 5 things about the concepts. So in conclusion, they are 5 plus 7 no, times 12. These are the number of sentences that you have to do. And what is the order? 12 times 12. So they are like around 140 sentences, more or less. Okay, this activity will be valid for today's and next week's attendance. Remember that the attendance have a point, because means that you are participation. Let's say not attendance. Let's say participation. Okay. You can deliver this activity for next week. Okay. Yes, you have until next week, until next Friday, to deliver all this activity. So you know they are nearly 150 sentences. So again, I'm going to give you the example with the yes no question, WH question, tag question, agreement positive, and disagreement, so that you can work on it. Yes no question is very simple. It's a question that need yes or no. Do you? Example in present simple. Do you work? Do you study? Do you exercise? So the auxiliaries do. The same is for the past simple. Did you? Did you? Did you? The same is for the Present progressive. Are you paying attention to this class? Are you aware of the activity that you have to do? Are you going to do this activity right now? The same for the present perfect. Have you studied? Have you known about these topics? So the auxiliaries have, because the structure is auxiliary plus subject plus whatever it comes. Do you work? Are you working? Have you worked? Have you been working? WH question is the same, but the difference is that with a WH question, the WH question are 7. Where, when, why, which, who, whom, how. Where do you work? Where are you working? Why have you been studying English for 2 years? Okay, so it's kind of easy. The tag questions. The tag questions is a question that you have an idea, but you want to make sure that you are correct. Okay. For example, you are not from Medellin, are you? That is a positive tag question. Are you? There are 2 tag questions, a positive one and a negative one. That's why we have 7. Yes, no question 1, WH question 2, tag question 3 and 4, agreement positive 5, agreement negative 6, and disagreement 7. So for example, you swim, don't you? The same, we have to take into account the auxiliary. The auxiliary is in accordance, is in agreement with the tense and with the subject. For example, she sings for a rock band, doesn't she? This is an example of negative tag question, doesn't she? Okay, the exam wasn't difficult, was it? That is the typical or no, or no. Okay, so those are the 2 examples for the tag question, the positive one and the negative one. Okay, now agreement, positive agreement and negative agreement. For the positive agreement, we have 2 structures. Structure number 1, subject plus auxiliary plus 2. That is structure 1. Structure 2, so plus auxiliary plus subject. So there are two possible ways to do this. The second one is more British, the first one is more American. That is a typical concept, me too. But me too is not correct grammatically, and if you are taking international test, which you will be taking next semester, if you pass this level, you are going to be faced to level 6, in which you are going to be prepared for international exams, and in international exams the me too doesn't work because it's not grammatically accepted. Okay, for this agreement, as I said, it's like you are in agreement with another person, and you can be in agreement in positive way or in negative way. For example, Marcos loves rock music, and I do too. Marcos loves, that is present, loves, present simple. The auxiliary for present simple is do. And I do too. I do is because it's in present. That is the auxiliary for present, and the structure is I do too. I, subject, auxiliary, too. I do too. Okay, well, that is American. More British one, it would be like oh, Marcos loves rock music, and so do I. Okay, that's the same for the present progressive. For example, she is listening to this class, and I am too. Oh, she's listening to this class and they are too. Right now she's sleeping and you are too, or so are you. Now let's see an example of a negative agreement. The negative agreement is the same. You have two possibilities. Number one, the structure is subject plus negative auxiliary plus either. How do you spell either? E-I-T-H-E-R. Either. The structure 2, neither or neither plus auxiliary plus subject. Neither or neither, but no neither. Neither is, I think neither is still plain in Envigado, no? So neither, no. Neither or neither. And this is the same. You are in agreement with a negative sentence that another person said. For example, she dislike or she doesn't like reggaeton. Say, oh, I don't either, or neither do I. Okay? Oh, she didn't come last class. Oh, I didn't either. Oh, for example, hey, did you listen to the class last week? Oh man, no, I didn't. Oh, neither did I. Okay, I was giving you examples in past, simple past. So it is the same. So you are going to do an example with a simple past. Well, example with agreement, positive in present simple, present progressive, present perfect progressive, simple past, past progressive, past perfect progressive, and the same with the future. Okay? Now, the disagreement. The disagreement is very simple. The disagreement, it could be a positive disagreement or a negative disagreement. Depends on the statement. The statement is the first sentence. For example, I love rock music. Okay? That is the first sentence, the first statement. I love rock music. To that statement, another person can reply in an agreement or in disagreement. Okay? For example, Maria loves rock music, and Stefania, and is a connector, positive connector. It's like it's in agreement. And Maria loves reggaeton. No, excuse me. Maria loves rock, and Susana does too. Okay? Maria loves reggaeton, and so does Susana. If it is negative, so if it is disagreement, you are going to use the connector but, that linking word, but. There are other different kind of linking words, for example, however. Okay? So, Maria likes reggaeton, but Susana doesn't. Okay? But Susana doesn't. Doesn't is the negative auxiliary. So the structure is very simple. You can get it. That is a negative. That is a negative disagreement. She likes it, but I don't. She loves watching TV, but I don't. She loves partying, but I don't. Now, example with a positive agreement. She doesn't like exercise, but I do. She doesn't like eating healthy food, but I do. She doesn't like studying, but I do. So she doesn't, negative sentence, negative statement, but I do. So from a sentence, from a statement, she doesn't like studying, there must be an answer or a reply. The reply can be positive if it is an agreement, Well, in this case, she doesn't like studying, and neither do I. That is a negative agreement. Or she doesn't like studying, but I do. That is a disagreement. Okay? So, here you have the grammar for today's session. Tenses. How many tenses? 12. The applications. You have the applications and homework to do. That is the homework that you are going to do for this session. Okay? There is going to be there's going to be a kind of a homework that is going to be called grammar, tenses, and auxiliary applications. You are going to, this is going to be something for you to upload the homework. Remember, you can upload the homework this week or next week. I am going to give you this class and next class so that you can finish with this activity. There is going to be no class next Wednesday. Okay? Neither next Monday. Well, next Monday is holidays because it's December the 8th. Next is going to be December the 10th. Is going to be Wednesday, and that class is going to be for you to continue finishing with this activity. Okay? And as I said, this is going to be valid for two participation classes, for last week and, well, for this week and for next week. Okay, guys, I am going to say thank you very much for this year. I hope that you have had a very nice year, very productive year, that you have been doing good, or you had been doing good about your studies in this year, that everything in your life had been great, and that next year everything is going to be maybe the same or much better. Okay? I don't know if you believe or not in resolutions. Okay? Try to work on these resolutions. Remember that one of the most important skill for any kind of person to develop is discipline. Okay? So if you are disciplined, you can be consistent, and if you are consistent and disciplined and patient, you can get whatever you want. That's why a lot of resolutions fail during the first week or even the first month, and this is what happened the first week on January. People started jogging, started exercise, but that lasts for what? For 1 week or 1 month at the most, because people lack of discipline and consistency. Okay? Also, before that, you have to think, why are you willing to sacrifice? Because if you are going to make something, it's going to be an effort, and an effort means that you need to sacrifice something. If you are going to start jogging, for example, on Sunday morning, you have to sacrifice a little bit about your party on Saturday night. So what are you willing to sacrifice? Okay? Well, what I'm giving you is for any part of the year, for any part of your life, but but it could be a good recommendation, I don't know, for you to take it into account. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thank you very much. We'll see you on January, the second week of January. The second week we are going to start with Unit 4. I'm going to start explaining to you about the project that is going to be the essay. The essay which is going to be the last two remaining midterm exams, that is the speaking and the writing. Okay, but that is going to be for next year. I wish you can have good time in family. Remember, family, one of the most important things in life. Appreciate them, share with them, be with them. Christmas is a good time to be with family. It's a good time to rest, to think, to reflect, to think about yourself, to try to evaluate yourself, how this year was, how you expect next year, and hopefully next year you will be recharged again. Okay, so thank you very much. As I said, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Wish you the best and success for 2015. Okay, until next year, take care guys.